Hi, my name's Kate. I am the Creative Director of Concrete Collaborative, and I'm here today with DMTV Milkshake. Concrete Collaborative is manufactured in San Diego, California, and we do architectural concrete and terrazzo finishes, and Design Milk asked me to answer some questions. So here we go. What is beautiful to you about concrete? So I grew up in concrete, pretty much. My dad is a civil engineer and he had his own concrete company. And so I've been around it a lot. And I think what I find most inspiring is that it has form and function. So it has these industrial roots where it can be a material that really serves an engineering purpose and is a foundation. And then it can also be beautiful finish and really pretty and really elevated and sophisticated. So I love that juxtaposition. It's something that we play with a lot, the raw industrial roots into this elegant, beautiful finish. So it's definitely an inspiring material to me. We make everything by hand. And so each piece has an engendered character and is unique in its own right. And I think that that's always inspiring to us. So next up. What are some key objects, colors, or vibes that define Australian design aesthetic? So I studied design in Australia. I think the Australian design and architectural industry is very mature. It has its own aesthetic. Every time I'm on Pinterest, Instagram, any platform, if I see a design I like, it's guaranteed to be an Australian architect or designer. So I gravitate towards that design aesthetic. And I think that it's very architectural, even though it has really contemporary colors and finishes and a very clean kind of style. It's always architectural. And I think that there's always that element to Australian design that I love. Next up. What's the most valuable thing you've learned on your own? I would say to be creative or to approach a problem creatively. I used to kind of question disrupting the industry or doing something different or kind of reinventing something. And I know now through everything that we collaboratively, me and my partners have been through in our business, it's always good to innovate. And I would encourage everyone to innovate. There's room for new ideas constantly, and it's really what keeps design going. So next up, how would you describe the California color palette to someone who hasn't been there? So we started in Australia, our business. We moved to Brooklyn and New York and have worked internationally, and we landed on California as where we wanted to set up our company. And we are very inspired by California in terms of color palette. I think there's that nature. We called all our product ranges after beaches, the names. And so I think it's just inherently part of our material, that modernist aesthetic, and really referencing nature and color. Some of the colors we bring in are like these rusty kind of tones, very reminiscent of mid-century modern architecture. And then your kind of warm neutrals. We really love tone on tone kind of terrazzo and concrete, and even, you know, greens. We just love anything that references nature and kind of builds off that mid-century modern aesthetic, but brings it into current times. So next up, how can playing with scale of terrazzo, like your alabaster large mix chip, affect how it works in a space? I have a piece right here. So to context it, this is our alabaster large mix chip. And I would say the scale is really important in how it affects the space. So we like to play with different scales of aggregate, different shapes of aggregate, different colors of aggregate. And that is the natural stone chunks you see within terrazzo, which is in our mix in a concrete base. And I love this as a basis of design because it really creates that contrast and that it really draws your eye. So we see this used a lot as countertops where they seam the slabs together, and I think it becomes a focal point for the design. So we love when people kind of play off the colors within the terrazzo and then also use this kind of scale as a reference point for the rest of the design. Anyway, thanks so much Design Milk for having us, and we'll see you guys soon.